Okay, so let's look back at what has happened today. So here we see the market after the initial run from the level at 4030. That was our entry level at 4030. The market dipped initially to 4017. So since we had anticipated to take our buy for the week's trend at 4030, we had that initial buy taken, and then when the market dipped to these levels at 4024, we had another buy taken, and then at 4018 we had another buy taken. So those were the three buy entries we had that we are taking earlier. 4018, then we had 4024, and then 4030 entered at 4029. So these were the initial three entries that we are taking earlier, and if you can see here, we had made a profit for the day: 163, 182, and 106 from those three entries. Then we also had higher buy entry levels. We took our buys from 4054 and also 4057, and exited at 4061 and 4062, just as earlier. So all our initial entries were exited on profits, as you can see here. So over $400 of profit made initially. Then as the market reached a crest, yes, a crest at 4073, the market now entered into a correction phase, which has dipped price back down to reaching 4027. And as it dips, we have taken entries along the way. We first took entry at 4063. Then when the market dipped also to 4050, we took another entry with 0.02. When the market dipped further to 4035, we took another entry with 0.04, and when the market dipped to our entry level, we took another entry at 4030 using 0.04. So why have we taken all of these entries at lower levels? We have taken these entries because we looked at the move downward as a correction wave, okay, which is not a trend move but a deviation from the trend. And typically correction waves are temporary. They are meant to, first of all, correct the day's impulse, and then uh, for those who had not got a good risk management, okay, this is where they get punished, because they would have seen this power candle here and jumped into the market maybe at a point, and now will not be certain of what to do. Then when holding, the market dips down and pushes them out. But for us who have a projection, we already know where we expect the trend for the day to be. This move downward now will create a sort of confusion in the minds of others who do not have the weekly trend projection. So with this move down, most persons will have an altered view of the market. They will be seeing the move so far as a new wave, okay, to the downside. Probably some will be calling it a trend continuation, as you can see. Some will be saying is market entering back into a downtrend. So, but we have a call based on the new events that have occurred, not the previous event that have occurred. The market, first of all, created this structure yesterday. So, having created the structure, the market now confirmed the structure today by coming to the entry levels today. Okay, so we have been trading according to the entry trend structure for the week starting yesterday. Now for today, let's look at the formation of the bases. Okay, we expected that after the initial base was formed, which today was a sell base, the market will come down and form what? A buy base, right? So where is the buy base formed for today? The market formed the buy base at 4026. That was where the buy base was formed today. So 4026, and let's look at 4054. Okay, so 4054 is going to have its deviation limit for the day at 4084. And so far, if you look at the move, the market has not made the move yet to 4084. The market stopped at 4074. Then for the buy base also that was formed, okay, that is at that's the correct buy base that was formed, that is at 4024. The deviation limit will be at 3994, okay, which the market also has not come to 3994. So having seen this, what we expect from the market is at this point completion of the previous day, because the day's own basis for trend projection has not yet come into any confirmation that will give us new instruction on what to do. And typically the days do not contradict an existing structure that was already formed and confirmed. So if we had the structure formed yesterday and then the market goes into the level at the structure at 4030, it means that it is that structure we are trading today, why today's structure has not given us a counter projection. Okay, so we are not having any deviation limit break either from the buy base at 4024 or the sell base at 4054. The deviation limits are 3994 and also 4084. These deviation limits have not been interfered with, have not been broken, and so they do not give us a counter projection. So what do we expect? We expect that this market is going to continue in an upward direction. Firstly, this dip means the market has done the correction required for the structure that was formed. Remember that whenever the market enters into a trend phase, there is usually what? A correction wave that comes in, or a retracement wave that comes in. And that is what has happened here. So this has given us what? A completed what? Correction wave. Now that we have a correction wave completed, what do we expect? We expect to see a reversal wave. Reversal wave is what takes price back into the direction of trend. Now, why is the market going to go into an upward trend? Because we already have a structure for a buy trend, which is an upward trend. That the market has not completed the projection. So the projection is for price to get to 4150. And if you look at the height achieved there, 4074, this has not gone even 50% of the total move required, okay, of the existing structure, which means that the market has to go and complete that move. It is based on that conviction that we have been taking our entries as the market dipped, and we have been taking these entries to buy at every lower level of the dip. So why are we doing so? Why are we not having altered what strategy? Why are we not changing our view of the market when the market was dipping? Because we already know the structure has a circle and the circle needs to what? Be completed. So let's see here. Here now we can take this profit first so that if there is a repeat of the dip, we can also get back into the market. You see how we trade, right? So this is because this correction currently that reached 4026 has no rule that says the market cannot dip further lower, okay, that the market cannot dip further lower before reversing. So because there is a possibility the market could still dip further lower before reversing, in other words, market could still repeat this level set here, okay, could still come back and test this level set here before reversing. We can take our profit here, and then we can use these levels below here, why we know that we have our entries holding and we cannot leave out trading at these lower levels. Okay, we can use these levels here to build our equity. You see that, right? So what is our equity looking like currently? Our equity has gone to 2162. Okay, so as the market continues to dip, we keep playing in the favor of our original trend projection. Okay, so now we can look further ahead of us. As the market goes to break 4084, what would that offer us as a promise? It means that the week has a potential of reaching 4184. So where we are currently is a midpoint, okay, for the week. The week hasn't gone any, I mean, the market is still at the entry level for the week's trend projection. So which means that we can enter at this level, okay? Any coming into this zone at 4030 down to 4020, even down up to where the market had touched as the day's low at 4017, we will keep taking our entries at this level. So this is because we have an understanding of the market structure. Okay, so we are trading in this order because we are trading trend. We are not trading short-term scalping opportunities. Okay, we are trading weekly trend, which is a swings strategy. Okay, swing strategy. Then it also favors our intraday market structure using the Power40 Scientific Trading Method, mathematical price sequence to track our levels. Okay, so we are still watching our entry. Now we expect that when the market enters into the reversal proper, we are going to ride that reversal wave. So let's look at what we have been calling and how the day went, okay, for those who have been watching our calls today. So let's look at the starting of today, what we have been calling. So we have today's call starting here. Let's see. Okay, so earlier we saw the market at 4030. This was the earlier hours of the day. Okay, here we send this call and say don't miss the weekly projections. This was posted on the Power40 or PSL official WhatsApp status. Okay, so that anyone can independently review and verify the accuracy of our trading method. We post it in public, okay, because we do not just want to say that our method is consistently profitable. We want to prove that we do accurate entry projections, okay, based on our Power 40 mathematical trading method or scientific trading method using mathematical price sequence. So here we said don't miss the weekly projections because that was when the market was at the entry level for the first time for the week on this day. Then we said it is now time for the trend phase. And we are now buying from the entry price, now confirmed from 4030 after all our projection requirements have been met. So what were our projection requirements? Our projection requirements starting from yesterday was that the price will dip from 4097 down to 4050 and break 4050 inward to test 4030, break 4030 inward and then return above 4030 to break it what? Outward. It is on the first break of 4030 outward that we are going to have our trend entry to buy for the week, and our projection is going to lead us all the way up to 4154. So that was what we saw happening at the beginning of the day. The structure was set yesterday, but the confirmation of the structure was done today, and that is what we said, that our projection requirements have been met. So as you can see here, we pointed the arrow first downward, reaching 4030. We pointed the market pointing downward, okay, below 4030 and then returning above 4030. That was what happened. So as the market went up, came back down to touch 4030, we took our buy. That's how our entry was structured. Okay, so at this point, we have sent the call so that everyone else can follow us and verify our accuracy using anticipation of market movement before the trend wave sets in. At this point, the market was still at the baseline, at the threshold, okay, before the trend. But we had given the call so that no one will say they were left out. And this was done at 7:29 a.m. Then let's see what happened following that call. So next we saw that we took the first entry at 4029. So this was before the market made the move upward. So here we said buy entry to be held from 4030 to target profit price at 4150. This is unnegotiable. It is the week's trend phase getting started at the confirmed entry level. All structures formed yesterday. Today is takeoff. So you see, we did this call so that anyone can join us, anyone can follow us, anyone can verify and review, okay, our trading method and our call. So we have not kept it hidden from anyone. All right, so we saw next here our entry was moving, making the first run in profit, $18 already. We started this day with this first entry. So at this point, there was no dip yet. Once we are seeing our entry level confirmation, we said we had sold down to 4030 from 4097 yesterday. Today we are buying up to 4150. Don't miss out. Join our cohort. Book your spot on PSL Luxury Lifestyle brand of system.io/cohort. Watch our yesterday's calls and confirmation of the structure formation here. So we also sent our link in public so that anyone viewing our status can watch our yesterday's call to see the accuracy of our projections. So no one is left in the dark, no one is deprived. Then what do we have here? We have our account statement here that was shown live so that everyone will see how our previous day's trade was. We saw that we entered the market and closed the day yesterday. That was on the 14th of July 2026. Okay, we had one entry close at $137 profit, another entry close at $112 profit, the next entry close at $159 profit, and the last entry close at $42 profit. So the net profit for the day was $450.75 in one day, and that took our equity to $1,805. Okay, that was what we began the new day with. So we have given our public audience the opportunity to review our account statement so that they can see how we are growing per time. Then we came back to look at the call. We said the call was clearly defined. If you missed out earlier, come in now. So even while the price had dipped to 4024 and 4017, we showed how we took the entry at the lowest level, still in the direction of trend. We did not change our bias while the price was down. So the price was still facing down, and we are already taking our entry pointing upward to our target profit projection at 4150. So we now had three entries: buy at 4029, 4024, and 4018. So these were the entries we started the day with. And now we show the entries running in profit when the market had already gone up to 4027. We had the first entry, which is from the lowest entry level at 4018, when the market dipped below 4030 to 4017. That entry was now counting $97 in profit. The next entry at 4024 was already counting $15 in profit, while the one at 4029 was still in drawdown. And here we stated that we are in for the full run up to 4150. Don't miss out. So we kept calling this short. We kept informing our public audience about what we were doing. And right here you could see when the entries had gone upward, okay, to 4033. Right now, we say no questions asked. The setup for the week's trend has proven reliable. So from when we took those entries, we saw that our stop loss was not triggered. Our stop loss was set at 4010. Then all the entries now in profit. Here, we said it takes time to heal any wound because we had these entries on drawdown when the market dipped from 4029 to 4017. We had it on drawdown, knowing that our stop loss was already set at 4010, and we maintained that stop loss without adjustment. So we now stated it takes time to heal any wound. We are now in profit and will be holding up to 4150 target profit price. It is still young, so don't miss out. Book your spot now for the next cohort. Book here, PSL Luxury Lifestyle brand or system.io/cohort. This is where all those who will be joining our weekly cohort will be booking. So we have given the call so that anyone can join, and we keep reminding our audience to join our weekly cohort. This is our Dusk till Dawn cohort, using what we do in the Power40 Scientific Trading School to help all those who attend to earn extra income, secondary income from the financial market to augment their primary sources of income. So here our entry was now giving us profit cumulative of $47.70 profits. All right, so let's look at further development as price went up. We said, look and tell me what you see. Right here, price has gone up to 4039. We are still holding our two entries, okay? From 4029 and 4024. We held those entries. Then price got to 4039. Now again, we held further. We say, what will be your excuse if you didn't join us? Price had gone up to 4048, and we are still holding our two entries at 4029 and 4024. So we kept posting the update live so that everyone could see how consistent we were. Then here we say, see what we are taking home. Join the next cohort on PSL Lottery Lifestyle Brand of system.io/cohort. And here we showed how our entries had gone in profit. 4024 was already at $116 profit, while 4029 was already at $93 profit. And we're ready to take the first profit for the day. That is why we call it our take home. All right, so here we say we are just getting started, and the price reached 4056. We are still holding the both entries from 4029 and 4024. And then we kept also keeping our audience updated as the market developed in time. Price kept appreciating, the market got to 4055, and our entries were already in massive profit of cumulative $282. Our entry from 4024 was already $153 in profit. Our entry from 4029 was already $129 in profit. We said it is heading to 4150 targets, and we are still at 4055. It is just beginning. So the essence of this update is so that anyone who is observing could decide to join. Now we showed when the price got to 4063, and here we say grab the moon bar. This is what trend trading looks like. We are still holding our two entries. Yes, at 4029 and 4024, the price got all the way up to 4063, and we showed it live so that no one would doubt that we were consistent, we were accurate in our projection. Here, we showed our profit was already $360.72 cumulative. We had the first entry at 4024 now at $192 profit, and the entry at 4029 at $169 profit. We said it is time to eat the bread after the tea of anticipation. It is time to eat the bread after the tea of anticipation. So here we were proving it that what we had anticipated the previous day was the tea, and now the bread has been buttered and toasted. It is time to eat it. We could now take our first profit for the day. We show that live to our audience, public audience, yes, so that everyone will see and understand. At this point, we had taken the profit that we saw earlier. Yes. So let's look at our final post. We said first home run taken at 4063. The launch was eating whole. So that was where we closed the initial trade we had at 4029 and 4024. New entries added to capture retracement dips at 4054 and 4063. So we had first new entries taken when the market started retracing after we had taken the profit. Okay, so we entered the new entries that we are showing us right now. And we said these entries we are to be held to the target profit at 4150. So which means we are keeping to our projection, and we are not going to change the projection even if the market dipped lower. Why? Because we have built our equity with the entries we had closed in profit. So the goal of the setup has been achieved much earlier and faster. So what is the goal of the setup? The goal of the setup is to take home $100 profit from every setup. But right here, we were going above $100 already. So the setup is still ongoing. Don't miss out. Join the next cohort. Book your spot on PSL Lottery Lifestyle Brand of system.io/cohort, and watch this earlier call pro video back in this setup on YouTube. So we posted all of that so that our audience could see how it was developing in real time. So these were the initial levels that we held as the market began the retracement move. Okay, so here you could see that the entry we held has retained. Okay, the entry we held has stayed. Okay, and we can still take this one so that in case we see a dip further, we would come in again. So what we'll do, having taken that at that price, we're going to come in again. We use 0.02 to give room for the market when it dips further, where we can now take another entry in case there is a dip further. Okay, we are building our equity this way. We are not just holding when we know that all we need to hold is one entry. That entry is already at what? 4063. That's the entry we need to hold. These lower entries are meant for building our equity. So we are taking our entry with the same projection, and the projection is to 4150. That is our target profit, while our stop loss for all entries remain 4010. We are using the equity we have achieved to take new entries. As the market dip, we take new entries. So you can see that right now our balance has gone to $2,509, right? Then our margin has reduced, okay, to 2,200. Okay, our margin level $2,240 based on the running trade. Once all trades are closed, we will now see our margin level. Our margin level had reached 11,000 earlier, and right now the margin level has grown up. So let's see so far how much profit have we realized on this account. So this account has realized $1,500 in profit so far, and this is the trade history so far since the funding was done. Let's look at the funding date. Okay, the funding date was on the 8th. Okay, 8th of July. And from 8th of July, $1,000 funding to today, 15th of July, we have made $1,500 profit. So we have flipped this account. We have flipped this account by 150%. 150%. So this is what trading with the Power40 Scientific Trading Method is, and this is what all those who join our cohort will be benefiting. So what are we waiting for right now? Like I explained earlier, we are waiting for the price to rally back up. But why it does so, if it returns back to retest the entry level, we are still going to buy because this is our projection for the week. The market is only giving us opportunities to take more entries to grow, okay? Any delay at this level is repeat entry opportunity. We are not changing our bias because we are not exiting any of our entries. We already have our defined stop loss level, and we are not doing anything other than trading the trend projection. And like we have said, the day structure has not been altered. Okay, so starting from yesterday when the market dipped from 4097 to 4030 today, we are trading that by structure. So this is what our trading for trend looks like. So we want anyone who wants to benefit from what we do to join us in our weekly cohorts. So go to pslotterylifestylebrand.cma.io/cohort to get your seat booked for the next cohort for our Dusk Till Dawn. Yes, Dusk Till Dawn cohort. Brought to you by PSL Luxury Lifestyle Brand.